Good morning, my loves. Welcome back. I think I have to move the camera. Let's dive into the week. We are starting the week a little tense. Well, we started this weekend already tense, right? We had this opposition between Venus and Pluto, and we are still in the middle of it. You're probably still feeling it very much. And now the Sun is going to square Chiron, which follows the Venus square Chiron that we experienced 2 weeks ago. Now, we're probably continuing the saga, the same story, the theme that you've been dealing with 2 weeks ago with Venus square Chiron. The Sun now brings a little light into it, right? Maybe there is still some blurriness, Venus, relationship planet, squaring Chiron, deep pain, right? Inner child work is necessary when we talk about this aspect. Now with the Sun squaring Chiron, the Sun will bring some light, and that light might bring even more pain because we are having some realizations. Having those realizations can then allow us to release the pain. So maybe for you this comes through having conversations, maybe with a therapist, maybe with a friend, maybe with your mother, maybe with your father. But this is probably not feel-good energy to start the week with, right? There's going to be tension, there's going to be irritation, and probably also some friction here. But again, understand that whatever is coming up, don't press it back down. Don't say, oh no, not dealing with this, Allow it to come up and then evaporate, right? And in order for it to evaporate, you gotta look at it and see it for what it is or what it was, and then let it move on. Don't just press it back down and then bury it somewhere within you and carry it with you further. No, it's time to allow it to release. And also always remember the lesson, right? What's the lesson here? Because there's always a lesson in it. So the next day, well, actually the same day, Mars is conjunct Uranus. And this conjunction is always, it can get a little volatile here, right? It can also a little, there might be some aggression, some stone thrown through the window, right? And the glass breaks. That it's that kind of energy. Because Mars just wants to push through. But Uranus is like, dude, what are you doing? What are you doing? No, we're going the different direction. It's like that storm. You think it comes from that side, but all of a sudden it takes you over there. And you're like, wait a minute, the storm came from there? I was not prepared for that. I was not prepared for that. I was looking there and I was preparing for this and I didn't see this. It's kind of coming from a different corner and you did not expect that. And you're like, well, what do I do? I was not prepared. And this is like, really thinking on your feet. Like now, what can you do now? What do you have to do now? So that storm is not carrying you. This is about becoming a bit more steadfast. Remember, Uranus is in Taurus still. And Mars in Taurus is just, really wants to bang its head against the wall until the head gets through the wall. But generally, the wall is so thick that all that happens with Mars when he bangs the head against the wall is, he's going to get a headache. So Mars is still very, very young. There is this juvenile energy. Mars just moved from Aries, where he was born, into Taurus. So it's still child energy. And the child doesn't really, think things through. It just wants what it wants. But the lesson here is, gotta grow up. But Mars will have to grow up really fast here with Uranus, because Uranus is not fooling around. Uranus will also, the idea also here is to find some sort of liberation. Where are you banging your head against the wall when there really is a door, right? It's that liberation where find the door, open the door and walk through the door instead of trying to get with your head through the wall. But again, this is like something you have to learn. You know, a child often doesn't know that there is a door. It just wants to go to the other side, and it's not really thinking, oh, maybe there's a door, maybe there is something else. No, but that's what we are learning through this aspect, right? A part of us, a very juvenile part of us, a very maybe childish part of us now needs to grow up. And it will probably come with, you know, a few bumps. So on the 18th, we have some more harmonious energy again. We have a sextile between the Sun and Uranus, and a trine between Chiron and Mercury. So the Sun is in Cancer, Uranus is in Taurus, Chiron is in Aries, and Mercury is in Leo. Chiron has a conversation with Mercury. Remember, we started out the week with a square between the Sun and Chiron, right? And it was tense, it probably still is. And now maybe things become more clear to you. Maybe you finally talked about something that you did not want to talk about before. And now, through this conversation, things become a little smoother again. And the Sun trine Uranus could be a surprise that you didn't expect, right? That also helps you become more clear. You know, maybe you find out something that you didn't know about before, and then that helps you understand yourself better, what is going on better in your life, in your relationships, in your work, wherever, you know, whatever it relates to. So it's a beautiful energy that is very helpful. Then on the 19th, we have Mars sextile Neptune. This is an aspect that is exact for probably 2-3 days. Well, how do I feel about this aspect? Well, the sextile is productive. So it is not just flowy energy. There is motivation here. So, however, with Neptune, there's also always a little bit of nebulous energy, and Mars doesn't really like that, right? Mars is just one that just wants to see facts and then go with them. Mars doesn't like to walk through the nebulous lands. However, I say however, because Mars, remember Mars just came out of this conjunction with Uranus, where he probably learned something. Mars is motivated now, right? Mars is motivated. It's like, okay, I learned something, you know? Mars feels really good about himself now. And now he's motivated to, you know, to see what is underneath all the nebulous stuff, right? Mars is motivated to move those clouds to the side and see what is actually there. Find the jewel within it, right? Find the jewel within the nebulous. So it is actually, or it can be a beautiful energy that for me, somehow also relates to what we just talked about with Chiron, right? This energy of, you know, you carried something with you, something that isn't serving you anymore. Maybe it served you at some point, right? Maybe you needed it at some point, but it's not serving you anymore, and you're still carrying it because you don't know how to let it go. This is Mars actively trying to help you here, right? Then also on the 19th, we have Venus trining and sextiling the nodes. This is a sextile to the south node and a trine to the north node. We had a similar aspect with Mercury last week, remember? Because Mercury was just in this degree last week. So Mercury had a few conversations, you know. Now Venus, already understanding things better, is here and says, okay, what am I going to do with this? What am I going to do with all that knowledge I have now about what has happened, what is not serving me anymore? You know, how do I actually implement it in my life? What am I going to do with it? How am I going to utilize this knowledge, all the things I know now? What am I going to do with it? How am I going to move the goalpost? What am I changing in my life, in my relationships now, to facilitate what I already know mentally, right? How do I make it quote unquote real in the physical? So there might be a few more conversations as well, but there will probably be physicality here with Venus. Venus is very physical. It's a physical energy, right? It's the feminine. You're working on really getting in touch with that part of you and really step into it, embodying it, not just understanding that energy mentally, but really embodying feminine energy, in your being. So I can see this energy or this aspect really catering to this, to you stepping into your feminine energy more. Now we're getting to the full moon. There's going to be a separate video for this, but let's just go through it quickly. It's a full moon in 29 degrees. It is in conjunction with Pluto, in sextile with Neptune. We have on the same day the Sun trine Neptune, Mars moving into Gemini, Venus sextiling Jupiter, and Mercury squaring Uranus. I mean, literally every planet is in the mix here. This is incredible. Guys, this is really, really incredible. And you might say, well, Saturn is not involved. You didn't mention Saturn. Well, I didn't have to, because this moon is ruled by Saturn. So this is probably going to be a full circle moment for us in our lives. I'm not taking this moon lightly. This is not a light moon. And I have to admit, I am a Capricorn moon. So probably I am already feeling this moon very intensely, just seeing this. But guys, you watch out for the video about this moon that will come out probably on Tuesday or on Thursday this week. It's a big one. It's a big one. Also, we have Mars changing signs. Mars is going from an earth sign to an air sign. Complete energy shift. Mars is going to be much busier, much faster. Things will happen much faster. And I think this will also cater to this energy. An intense week. We're starting the week a little tense, then, we're smoothing it out a little, and then there's the big bang. But we will talk about this in a separate video. So I wish you a wonderful week, a lot of lessons and learnings. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comment section below. If you want your personal reading, you can book it by clicking in the link in the description box. Anything else, I'm here for you. Ask away, and I will see you in the next video.